Facebook. Good morning, folks. Good afternoon if you're watching later. Recording. What do we want to talk about today? This is my mic. My mic is on there. I like to forget my mic. Yay. Fog of war. Being able to see your problem. Being able to target the actual enemy. Good morning. What is today? Tuesday? It's Tuesday all day. Good morning. There's a whole bunch of news out there today. Looking through the fog. Trying to figure out where to shoot. Oh, Will Markham is hilarious. Will Markham is hilarious. I don't know if y'all saw that meme. Let me see. That dude he had me crying this morning. He had me crying. I don't often get up and check my phone. I like to get up and kind of meditate for a little bit. I like to think about the day. Got the crystals around me. Oh, Will Markham is hilarious. Let me see. I might show this. I'm gonna show this to y'all. Wait for everybody to get here. I know it's gonna trigger some people already. It's gonna trigger them. They're gonna see it. They're like, "Hey, my 2020. Don't talk about my 2020." And I'm just, people. Just keep in mind that they're all lying. I saw this. I started dying. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Will Markham, he is a genius. The guy is a genius. Y'all see this right here? Bernie's gonna give you up. Bernie's gonna let you down. Bernie's gonna run around and desert you. Bernie's gonna make you cry. Bernie's gonna say goodbye. Bernie's gonna tell a lie and hurt you. I was dying when I saw that. I know people don't want to see it. I know. They wanted this. I got my 2020 and my 2020 is gonna help. And this is like, no. Let's be clear with something. I have nothing against Bernie Sanders. I have nothing against Donald Trump. I have nothing against Barack Obama. I have nothing against Tulsi Gabbard. I have nothing against, who are the other 2020s? Well, the last presidents in the 2020. I have nothing against any of them. I'm just like, the problem is the system. It's not the pieces, not the chess pieces. Focus on the fog of war. And they keep the fog going. And that's why nothing changes. They keep the fog going, so you can't actually fix a problem. You're still playing the game because you're lost in the fog and you can't see. I'm off talking. We didn't even start yet. Good morning, everybody. I just had to show that because I was laughing. It was hilarious to me that people still post their 2020s. Good old Will Markham. Humor is the best. Humor. You gotta have your humor. You gotta laugh. You have to laugh. You have to laugh. Don't take yourself too seriously. Like I have a lot of my religious friends. They'll, well, what's wrong with you? You don't believe in God anymore. It's like, no, I do. I just don't believe King James knows who he was. I don't believe the Pope has a line to him. I don't think he texts back and forth with the Pope. Of course I still believe in God. I laugh about it. Why can't I laugh about it? I posted something the other day. We were having a lot of fun. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm gonna show this. I would show it. It's important. It's important. I think that you can't take yourself too seriously. Oh, that's me. Make me disappear. I want Bernie to disappear. Disappear, Bernie. People will see it, they'll get triggered, and it's like, I'm not gonna watch. I don't want to be a part of this because they're talking about my 2020s. We don't have nothing against your 2020 people. The problem is that it's the system. It's not your 2020. It doesn't matter who you put in. If the system's not designed to be fixed, you're not gonna fix it. Like I like solutions, and maybe we should just, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in the news I'm gonna show you, but maybe we could just talk solutions. There's a lot of good solutions. Like one of the ones I looked at was a constitutional convention. How do you get the monkey off the back of the human race? How do you get the monkey off the back of the earth? Which the monkey obviously is us, it's American people, because we let our government go astray. How do you get the monkey off their back? The Constitutional Convention is one of them. I think they need 7 more states to launch a constitutional convention so they can actually fix the problem. It's just like, well, you know, everyone's got their own problems. Well, my thing is crime. I say, okay, well, if your problem is crime, where does crime come from? Right? Crime has a direct relationship to unemployment. And why is that? Because because unemployment has a direct relationship to poverty. Oh, so now we're getting down some root causes. So if your place is fighting crime, that's not about police. It's not more laws that you fight crime with. You fight crime by building people houses and getting them food in times of unemployment. But those are like hard problems. Well, to me, they're easy. But the people who can't do critical thought and they listen to the news and they believe what's in the mainstream media, it's hard for them to see that, you know, because the mainstream media constantly puts up these fogs, the fog of war. I do want to show you this. Fog of war. I was skipping down my timeline. I want to skip past this. Fog of war. And that's not a fog right there. Those are helicopters. This is somebody was filming in Colombia. They're watching all these helicopters come in. American copters. They're not going there to tickle anybody's tummy. So of course we're sending American soldiers down there. American soldiers are already down there. The special forces are down there. Let me turn this off while I find the post I was looking for. And they're not going down there as a threat. They're going down there to colonize because they always do. That's what we do. We are colonizers. Our whole society's based on it. And your 2020s are all colonizers. You know, because that's what the system requires. This is what I want to show you right here. You can't take yourself too seriously. I saw this here, and of course, I lose a couple religious friends. That's okay. If you're not ready, you don't need to break up. And it's a mom pointing at her son or daughter. Your imaginary friends aren't real. And the next scene, they're sitting in church. It's funny to me. I laugh. Yeah, I got my imaginary friends, but I imagine them. They're for me, right? Like I say, religion's for you. Your religion is for you. Your religion is not to take it out in the world and force everybody to live you the way you want them to. That's called colonizing. They don't just colonize nations, they colonize bodies, they colonize intellects. And so I'm against all of that nonsense. But I can laugh at myself. I think one of our greatest powers is to be able to laugh at ourselves. But there's a lot of interesting stuff in the news. Good morning, everybody. I think everybody is coming is here. Yeah, but Bernie has a special place in my heart, though. He has a special place in my heart because most of my friends are probably Bern exiters. Before that, they were actually mostly people on the right. So they're the ones making the funniest jokes right now, the Bern exit people. So they're targeting Bernie like you wouldn't believe, and it's hilarious. But it's true. It's true. It's just anywhere I see the most gaslit fog of war, the fog of fake politics, the fog of the media, the fog, that's usually where you got to focus, right? Because those are the people who are about to march us right back down into the same crap we're trying to get out of. Fogs of war. You know, that's why the media is constantly talking Trump, 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 Trump. You know, even Maduro is yelling and screaming it. And why does he yell and scream it? Because we do. If we believe that that's the problem, we believe the face that they put up there, we believe that the people who run this planet actually would put the people who are causing the problems on television, you know, you believe that. And so, of course, Maduro believes that. So he's yelling and screaming how Trump is coming to invade, and Trump's not coming to invade. He's doing what the system requires him to do. If Bernie were your president right now, we'd be invading Venezuela, or we'd be in the same posture we are now. That's just the real facts. It's ugly, but it's how the world looks to an adult. So good morning, everybody. Let me see. Good morning, Betty and Brenda. Anna, I didn't speak to people this morning. John, it doesn't matter as long as I'm here. Yeah, John is here. Welcome, brother. Is your powder dry? I know you are. That's Brother John. Lori is here. How's it going? Good morning. My only true friends. Donna, we are your friends, and we're not just your friends, we're your family, girl. We're your family. We're all related. We all look out for each other. Good morning, Ellen. We got Augustine. Let me see. Linda said Marianne Williamson is running too. Yeah, I know. You know what? But see, the thing with me, Linda, is I don't see a whole bunch of Marianne posts. I don't see a whole bunch of she's gonna stop the killers that are taking over the whole world post. And so it's just people are right now, they're cheering Bernie. You know, and so that's like the attack to kind of calm down the fog of war and just doing more of the same instead of fixing the actual problem. It tends to get focused on the Bernie people right now. Just from my perspective, from what I see, you know, because we can't seem to see through the fog. We're constantly shooting at the pawns. We're trying to cheer the rook to be in lead, and the rook doesn't actually run things. It's the king and the queen. You know, focus on the actual problem, and we can't seem to do that because we're still trying to fix the system from within the system. And that'll never work. You're not going to fix a problem from within the problem. You got to fix it from the outside. This is on the people to fix. This is not on the politicians. The politician's job is to get you to look at the president. Good morning, brother Kevin. That's their job. It's a fog of war. They give you the fog. The media's job, like they got a job too. What is the media's job? They put up fogs of things that you'll tap into, right? So they do dramatic things. Right? They make it about the presidents because it's emotional. You know, Obama has big ears and he's a monkey, and then, you know, all of this racism and stuff. And Trump is this and he's racist and he's got yellow hair and, you know, he's invading this, that, and the other. And so everyone's got their fog. Why does the media do it? Because they need to sell advertising, right? The more advertisement that they sell, the more money they make. So they keep putting the fog out there because it makes them money. Now, the second benefit is they get a war. They get a war out of keeping everybody lost in the fog, then they got more things to talk about. Like, as an example, the only reason I can come on here every day is because I don't have a life. I read all the time and I watch lectures all the time. And so I can say that we could talk all day long. I never run out of things to say. But if you run a 24-hour news network, you can't run out of things to say. And unfortunately, war and conflict and those things that tend to be dramatic feed each other. Like I made a post the other day, saying something to the effect of, you know, we are the source of our own problems, and not knowing that creates more problems, right? Because that's how the media makes money. You know, the problems they promote now that tend to be dramatic, that don't solve anything, make sure that they can sell ads tomorrow. Why do politicians do it? So this is what I see. The presidents get in, your politicians on the other side, their job is to attack the president. Their job is to constantly say all the problems are the president's, not Congress, not Senate, not the Supreme Court, not anybody else, not the bureaucracy, not the deep state, not the people who are actually writing the policies that are in office every single administration. Their goal is to point at the fog and say, shoot in the fog. The problem is Bush. You know, the problem is Obama. The problem is Trump. The problem is Clinton. And if they can get you to look at the fog, then you can't fix anything. The problem is racism. The problem is the Nazis. The problem is there's all these different problems that are all dramatic because it hides the actual real problem. And that's why militaries do it in war, right? It's a strategy. The fog of war, you can't really see where to shoot. I'm sorry, I didn't even do an explanation. That's what the fog of war is. You know, lots happening in war. You can't see where to shoot. You know, is that a tank? Is that an MRAP? You know, what in the heck is that? Is that a troop? Is that, you know, a bystander, a citizen? You can't really see too well in the fog, and that's why the fog is there. The fog is beneficial. That's why they pop smoke. So you can't see where to shoot. You know, if you can get the enemy targeting a useless area, a useless piece of equipment, then you can win the war. If you can get the enemy to allocate troops to a battle to fight racism, a battle to fight police, a battle to fight Trump, a battle to fight the Democrats, a battle to fight the conservatives, then you'll lose the war. You know, and so this is why the fog of war is so important, to think about strategy. If you can't really see the strategy that unfolds around you, you're going to lose the war. And right now, humanity's losing. All right, we get to the news. What I mean by fog of war. Let me see. The narrative is important. That's what I like about the early stages. Economic policy is the new it. Exactly, Linda. Economic policy is the it. It. Focus on the it. It's economics. Everything comes down to economics. Why? Because you control human beings. How? Human beings, they can't grow food. They can't grow food. They don't plant seeds. They can't drink water. They can't build houses. So if you control the economics, you can make them go to work. You can make them pay the taxes. You can make them scared, do whatever you need to, but to control the economics of it. And that's why I'm saying, like, if your problem is police brutality, then your issue is with economics. If your problem is the police state, your issue is with the economics. If your problem was, what is it, 23andMe? Who was that? I forgot the latest one that got caught. That was actually in the news this morning. They got caught selling, but not selling. They got caught with the database. They let the FBI use the database they make fake profiles to run against your profile to find people who broke laws. And, you know, your problem is with them selling your DNA. Your issue's with the economics. Why? Why do they sell your DNA? For money. Why did they give it to the FBI? Why? Because they want to stay in business. Why does Facebook censor? Because guess what? The United States government will come after them if they don't. They just want to make money. They want to stay in business. So focus on the economics of it. You know, why are there a whole bunch of black people in the civil rights movement that love slavery and mass incarceration? The economics. They sell books. Okay. They got to be okay with slavery because they make a lot of money in the conflict. Like, that's how all of this works. Why are the wealthy elite whites okay with the poor whites and calling white trash and trailer parks? Because they don't give a damn. It's economics. They make money making sure that they stay at the top of the pyramid and they keep everyone else down at the bottom. Economics. Always focus on the economics. Why are we getting air quality alerts? Here's a good example. Living on the East Coast, we get air quality. Why do we have air quality alerts over here? We're relatively supposed to be, you know, no really smoggy cities around us. Why? Because we're on the East Coast of America. So all the crap that y'all do out there in the mid and west, all the Monsanto, your pesticides, your herbicides, raining glyphosate, all of that crap, your chemtrails, whatever it is, it all comes this way because of the jet stream. So we got air quality alerts out here. I can't even go outside. Economics. Why do chemical companies do it? Because it makes a lot of money. Focus on the economics. That's the driver of human beings. Human beings, they want to survive. They want to live. And the only way they do that is if they work and have money. Focus on the money. Money is all about power and how you control people. What happened to fixing the infrastructure, Lori? See, and that's another fog. But they put these fogs out here where it's like, yeah, we're going to get in and we're going to be America first. We're going to take care of America. Obama did it. And of course, Trump did it. Why? Because that's what you want. You want people to take care of your area. You want them to fix your roads and your bridges and stuff. But that's not what the system wants. That's not the game. The game is saying whatever people will take, which is why I'm critical of Marianne Williams, whatever her name is, Bernie Sanders, whatever. They got all these ideas and programs, but the thing is, it's all fog because the system's not designed for you to do that. They're not actually in control. That's why I'm all on the Constitutional Convention. We need to go back to the drawing board and fix the government. You know, and then the other thing is, like I was talking about, the whole letting the DNA out and the DNA databases and law enforcement using it. It's like, well, you don't like that? They're keeping us safe. They're catching criminals. Well, I don't believe in your law enforcement. I really don't. It has nothing to do with the police. It has to do with the laws they're enforcing aren't constitutional. The laws they're enforcing aren't within the Bill of Rights. The laws they're enforcing, the people who wrote the laws, they had no right to write them. They're all illegal. So the vast majority of the problems that we have, we can't really focus on, like the real problems of violence and rape and conflict. We can't even tell who's like really the problem because mostly it's impoverished people that end up in these positions where all of this crazy gang related and whatever stuff happens. If you didn't have a government that had zero respect for your Constitution, your Bill of Rights, you wouldn't have these impoverished conditions. You wouldn't have, we'd be thriving. If you lived in a free country, you would have no laws. Like, that's the litmus test for a free country. You don't have laws. And if you didn't have all this crap keeping everybody artificially scarce, then you wouldn't need so many laws and you wouldn't need law enforcement. So I'm all about the root cause problems. I'm not interested in the mid-tier fogs that everybody wants to fight. If it's in the media, it's not actually a problem. It's just what they're selling because it's dramatic. It's a fog of war. Root cause start with the factors that frame our choices. Absolutely. That's a little deep, Brother Kevin. Read that again. The root causes start with the factors that frame our choices. Ooh, yeah, I'm with you, brother. All right, I had to read it twice. Kevin a little smart, y'all. I got friends, sometimes they post stuff. I got to read it 2-3 times, scratching my head for a minute, then it actually starts to sink in. Right. Because what choices do we really have? A kid born in America depends on where they're born. If you're born in the barrio, the ghetto, or rural area with no money, a trailer park or wherever, it doesn't matter your race, color, religion, anything, you only got so many options, right? You only got so many options. You know, you can choose to accept the wrongs that were done on you because us adults in your world, we didn't orchestrate a society that would give you a chance. some of those options are going to be crime. Your mom is drunk, your dad left, you sitting in a trailer park by yourself, your little sister, her diapers are dirty and there's no food and she's crying and she's hungry, and what you gonna do? I know what I would do. Like, the only reason, let me be clear. This is why I don't ever blame children, ever. I don't ever blame children, not for any damn thing, because we set people up to fail. And if I weren't born in the family I was born in, I might be robbing you right now. And that's just real. That's real. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. Would I sit around and watch my little sister starve? Or would I go do what one of my friends did, go start selling marijuana to put food on the table in Washington, D.C.? Hell yeah, I'm a seller. Doesn't matter what your government says, right? It's my right as a human being to life. It's my right as a human being to grow and sell something that keeps my little sister alive, because I was born in a family that suffers under whatever they're suffering under. You know, so yeah, I'm not interested in your law enforcement. I'm not interested in the FBI going through the database. They're not keeping me safe. They might be keeping you safe, not keeping me safe. My interest is fixing things for the future. So I do want to get into this whole bunch of news. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start. Y'all commenting. It's going to end up being a discussion. Maybe what I'll do is I'll read the news off, and if y'all want me to key in on something, we'll go from that direction. But it's a whole bunch of great comments, and that's why I say, I gotta stop. I keep reading the comments every time I read the comments. All right, so what's happening? Iran made a new missile, right? It can reach Israel and Saudi Arabia. So this is what I'm probably in trouble for, because I said, good job, Iran, good job. Good job, Iran. This is a good job. Good job. You know, it's all about deterrence. See, my biggest problem is I got family in Israel, I got family in Iran, I got family in Saudi Arabia. And my family in Israel and Saudi Arabia, they got too many guns and weapons and bombs, and like there's no balance in power. And so they're killing people in Iran and Syria. So I'm happy that my family in Iran now has missiles that can reach my family in Israel and Saudi Arabia, because now they might act right? They might, I don't know, they probably act up, but it's the first step. First, now they got some missiles, they can get some missiles. See, it's deterrent, deterrent, right? You know, if you got here's an example in the family. You got, say, 3 uncles, right? You know, you got 2 uncles and an aunt, right? Your 2 uncles, one big, just bodybuilding, nasty, drunk uncle named John, right? No, his name not John. Let's say his name is Israel. And he liked to beat up, you know, his brothers. He liked to beat up your other uncles. And he got another big, nasty uncle, Saudi Arabian. He's big and burly. He liked to beat him up and just dominate everything, Thanksgiving, whatever, act a fool. Then you got your little aunt. She's skinny and small. Say her name is Iran. And they like to push her around. They get the table first, and they get the first turkey and the beets and everything. They push her and elbow her out the way. At some so important point in time, you know, your little aunt, let's say her name is, I don't know, Henrietta. She takes kung fu, take a little wushu, a little northern Shaolin or something. And she come to Thanksgiving 5 years later. Uncle John tried to throw that elbow. And Henrietta do one of them moves like that and flip, drop, boom, on the table. Yes, I'm cheering. Why am I cheering? I'm cheering not because I want my Uncle John to get hurt, but now it's more of an equal playing field. Now we can have a little peace at Thanksgiving. Now we can talk. Now Uncle John won't act a fool. Uncle Saudi Arabia, Uncle Israel, they might actually get some common damn sense. See, when you have equating powers, you have a lot more negotiation. You have a lot more talking. Another example, if Venezuela, if they had a big military, you wouldn't see American boys and girls being sent down there to go fight and die and do things that'll destroy their brain chemistry and their frontal lobe, doing dumb stuff for big corporations because they don't want people to actually own the resource. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this. Let me say, all right. I'm so sick of having to say this. I don't know why people don't get it. People, stop trusting the news. Don't be this dumb, gaslit, naive, and gullible. We are going down there to take their resources and give it to big corporations. No, we're not going to take them democracy. We don't give 2 damns about democracy. No, the problem is not socialism. The problem is, in Venezuela, they felt that the people had a right to the actual minerals that grow around them, that are under the soil. And we're going down there to steal their minerals and give those rights to big corporations that aren't even American, okay? So if you think that they're going and Americans are going to do a little better because we go and make a new slave colony in Venezuela, that's not what's happening. These corporations are international corporations. They tell your government what to do. Your government doesn't tell them a damn thing, okay? Just to be clear on that. That's what's happening in Venezuela. They don't feel humans have a right to the resources on the land, so they want to give them to corporations. They want to privatize. That's what happened at the first coup. I don't want to say it again. Please let me know that you get that. All right, we off. So that was Iran. We done with that? Iran. So I'm happy, yes, because when you have equating powers at Thanksgiving, you have a lot more discussion and a lot less elbowing and stealing resources and chicken and beets. Yes, absolutely. The other one, what was it? DNA? Oh yeah, the DNA one, right? So DNA testing companies are sharing data with the FBI. So the FBI is going in there, they're putting in fake profiles and they're syncing them up and they're trying to find relatives of the people who did the crime so they can come find you. No, I'm not for your law enforcement, so no, I'm not for the FBI doing that. Was it 23andMe? It's not, never was 23andYou. It was 23 and you and the FBI and the MI6 and the CIA and Homeland Security. No, they should not have that. Why? Because I won't believe in law enforcement until we actually can fine tune in on who the actual criminals are. Not the poor people, but the actual criminal, the actual people who have the genetics for violence. We don't even know who they are. And even them, I think they need help more than anything else. They probably just came from a violent family. You know, so no, I'm not about enforcing laws that are unconstitutional. That's stupid to me. It's violence trying to fight violence. USA is the drunk uncle. Oh, you know what? You're right, Courtney. I'm sorry. You're right. We'll always start. Yeah, we are. We're in that equation. But the discussion was about Israel, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. The U.S. is in there somewhere, but the U.S., you know what? They're like somebody at the dinner table, like they're stirring up problems or something. Like, oh, Henrietta gonna get that chicken, John. You need to get in there and get it before, you know. And America's like feeding them, I don't know, giving them money or something behind the doors. America is like trying to take clips and put them in bullets in John's gun or something stupid like that. We're always in it. We're always in there because we're just the thugs. Yeah, right? America doesn't exist. And the same big families that own Israel and they own Saudi Arabia, they own America too. They own most of Latin America. It has to do with central banking and they're all friends, buddies, homie, lover friends. That's why I say nations don't exist. Y'all can stop talking about nations. I'm sick of y'all talking about nations too. That's the other thing. It's another reason the aliens don't come to visit. Because that's the other reason we're the aliens entertainment system, because you actually still think nations exist and that your kings and lords are doing something for you. The other thing was what California wants. I can show this to you. Let me see if I can show you what I'm looking at. I'm kind of just going down my queue. I go through the news in the morning. I kind of look at the things I think that make some sense. Things that aren't fog, right? Avoid the fog. The fog is the problem. You know, we get lost in things that actually aren't related to any of the problems. Oh, did I do that right? Okay, y'all can see it right there. Yeah. Uh-oh, something happened. Well, you can kind of see it. This is what I was looking at. Anyway, so what else? Yeah, so California wants zero emissions. That's a good thing. Good thing. But I think the city in California is one of the worst cities for emissions. What's that next one? You can't really even see it. Democrats call for something. There's some racist guy. I don't know. Another fog of war. There's some racist guy in office. What's his name? I don't know the name of your lords and kings. Hold on, let me see if I can do this another way. I want you to be able to see what I'm looking at. You know what? I know what I'll do. I could grab another screen. We go like this. I'll go like this. And I can turn that off. I'm getting good with my technology, y'all. And I think I want to do this one. There we go. That's a little better. All right. I think you can see some comments there. That looks a little weird. Let me see if I can shrink that a little bit. Nah, that's probably the best I can do right there. How does that look? Yeah, there we go. Uh-oh. Now, man, this is messing up. All right. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just make a new screen. I'm gonna get it, y'all. Bear with me a second. I know what y'all talking about. But the fog of war, right? Like that's something I think we need to focus on, is the fact that we're always being played by these fogs. We're always being played by things that aren't actually the problem, and because they're emotional and they sell newspapers and they keep politicians in office. This is why all your politicians in office are always talking about the president. They're never talking about themselves. This is what I'm looking at right here. maybe it's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just like walk down this in the morning and y'all can, based on your activity, somehow tell me what we should actually look at. All right, there we go. So where are we at? Yeah, so DNA database, California wants zero emissions by 2035. The Democrats for Virginia governor's resignation. Right, that's the racist guy. Did y'all see that one? That was kind of fun. I love it. Sometimes I like talking about racism. Sometimes I don't. To me, it's stupid. There's a guy, what is his name? Governor Ralph Northam, Democrat, Virginia. He took a picture, which is funny, he's a Democrat. But anyway, they made the KKK. Y'all know that, right? But anyway, he took a picture in blackface or something with the Klan. If you can see that picture right there, they want him to step down. To me, it's stupid. I don't care. It's a fog of war. Why? The kid, he was 20. He was under 26 when he did it. That's my question. The earth is not flat to me. The earth is round. Were you under 26? Have you ever done anything dumb in your life? And the funny thing is the Democrats are calling for him to step down and the Republicans. And I'm like, no, why? I don't know who he is. I've done dumb stuff at 26. I don't ever want to go. I don't ever want to see again. I've done stuff so dumb, I just forgot what I did. Y'all will never find out because they didn't have no cameras back then. So to me, and plus it's stupid. Well, this whole idea that people got to like you, I'm done with that too. That's just dumb. People don't like you and it's okay they don't like you. Just stay away from them. Love people, you ain't got to like them. We can look at that. The other thing is, let me see, what is that? Oh yeah, that's just on the Northam guy. Let me see, Consumer Reports arsenic in fruit juices, right? But you know you shouldn't be drinking fruit juices any damn way. You know that you should be giving your kids natural juices. You should be buying local from your local farms that grow organically and make your own juice. You can hashtag make your own juice. You don't have to buy juice that comes with metals and other problems and all the sugar they put in there anyway, which is a carcinogen, and the sugar lobby just won't let anybody really talk about it, except for 2020. I think 2020 did a good episode on sugar being a carcinogen. So the fact that there's arsenic in it and they're heavy metals, that's bad, but it's probably worse that there's sugar. Oh, I do want to go on to this one. Yemen swine flu. Why? Because war has so many positive benefits. It's not positive, but positive in terms of we cause the problems, and some of these problems will come back and bite us. They talk about how in war zones, disease thrives, and sometimes it comes home to bite us.
Now, if you don't think
as
that
it should.
We live in a global setting where something that happens thousands and thousands of miles away can't affect you.
I'm going to start back from the beginning.
Now, if you don't think that we live in a global setting where something that happens thousands and thousands of miles away can't affect you, think again. You know the war in Yemen? The one that's killed tens of thousands of people and where hundreds of thousands are sick, and
the war that nobody focuses on, nobody talks about, nobody gives a damn about. That's why I'm glad we're back on Yemen. And how is this applicable? Because if it doesn't affect you in your daily life, what do people say? Well, let's not focus on them. Let's just focus on us. Let's just work on this. Let's just work on America. We're all connected. And if you're creating viruses and bacteria and you're starving people and they can't eat food, and so disease is living and thriving within them, guess what? It's thriving and deciding how to live within you. You're creating something that thrives within the human host. It probably is supposed to come back and bite you, but everything's related.
Could be dying. So you usually don't think about Yemen, even though, by the way, and here's what you should know about Yemen. It's your tax money that's being used there to prop up one side, the Saudis, who are on one particular side of this battle. But that's, you know, maybe a story for another day. Generally, Americans just don't seem to care. We're busy.
Don't seem to care.
Well, something is happening now in Yemen that could make you care, because it could eventually affect you.
Pause. No, Americans aren't busy. They're kept busy. There's a difference. They're kept busy. They're kept busy by jobs and problems and two jobs and drama and media and crap. They're kept busy. We have automated solutions that people don't have to do all of that crap, that they can focus, but they don't want you focused. Part of the fog of war.
Here, all of us, maybe even in some conditions kill us. See, there's this massive outbreak of swine flu in Yemen. It appears, because of the conditions and the horrible situation there, they've got no way of stopping it. And remember, diseases like this do skip borders.
Yes,
People do board airplanes when they're sick.
Hold on, Paul. They actually can get over the wall. I've just clarified. They can get over the wall. The disease, the bacteria, it can go under the wall, It can go over the wall, it can go around the wall. So this is where walls don't help you.
And people do sneeze on airplanes. Think about that.
That happens too.
We have our NRS correspondent, Michelle Greenstein, who's been working on this story throughout the day, and she's here to fill us in on what she's learned. So start us off with, what is the situation with the swine flu there in Yemen, and why is it so bad?
Sure. So the Yemeni health ministry says that this is a flu spreading rapidly through many provinces. As you know, this is a disease that has the potential to break down one's immune system. So there is, of course, a high risk of fatality. Yemeni health officials say that about 80% of those with the H1N1 risk dying. This is higher than it needs to be, and we'll get to that more in a moment. But right now, the official death toll is 86, although it's likely higher because many cases are going unreported.
Now, the good news about swine flu is you have to be sick, old, or very young to die from it, or, get affected by it in a very bad way. The bad news is it's communicable. That means what is happening in Yemen today could eventually cross the border and reach other countries, and sometimes it's as simple as a sneeze, right?
Right, so this is...
Stop. Clarify. No, swine flu doesn't just attack the young and the old. Why did they put it that way? Swine flu, it affects the immune system. It attacks people with weakened immune systems. So what does that mean? It means in healthy countries, in tropical countries where they eat real food and raw and veggies and all that, it attacks the sick and the old. In America, it attacks everybody who drinks juice. It attracts everybody who gets their vaccines. It attacks everybody who eats those burgers at lunch with all that gluten bread. It attacks everybody who eats bagels in the morning. It attacks everybody that isn't eating lots of fruits and veggies and healthy things. So yeah, it does. Swine flu will target the people with weakened immune systems. I'll take you back to the studies on the American immune system, where the doctor said that most people are walking around with partially functioning immune systems. This is where the chickens can come home to roost.
The right point to be making, I think. Why can't we contain this? One issue is that these cases are being diagnosed very late in the game, and you need to detect them early to cure them with antiviral drugs. Of course, we have medicine shortages. Less than half of the hospitals in Yemen are operational right now. The ones that continue to exist, the ones that have yet to be bombed to rubble, barely function. Doctors and nurses are going unpaid. Thousands of them have gone months without seeing a paycheck. And we also have power outages and this type of infrastructural issue. Some patients are unable to simply access the health facilities that do exist because a lot of the roads are impassable, which is why I think we can't discuss this story without discussing the broader war on Yemen, which until recently was pretty much ignored by the corporate media. Between 70 and 80,000 people have died from this war directly, but like you mentioned in your toss, that doesn't include the indirect causes of death, like famine, like disease. This is a war that has manufactured the world's worst famine in history, in which 85,000 children have already died from hunger and disease. The UN actually warned that an entire generation could be crippled by hunger. And then, of course, in addition to bombing hospitals and clinics, Saudi-led coalition has also intentionally targeted farms, markets, food storage facilities.
Yeah.
And, Yemen imports...
I have to stop there. Clarify. 85,000 late-term abortions out of Yemen. Let's just really let that sink in for a minute. 85,000 late-term abortions committed in Yemen. And we paid for it. We helped it. We sent the weapons and we sent guns. We gave them intelligence. We refueled the jets to drop the bombs. And so this is why I'm saying it's all related. It's all related that this will come home to us. This affects the human race. You can't get away with deploying evil. This is why I don't care about your 2020s. I don't care about your 2020s. It's a fog of war. You're taking something out, a president, to put something else in that was complicit with all this in the beginning. It doesn't matter.
90% of its food. So to starve this country is not that hard, which is why Saudi Arabia, backed by us, like you mentioned, has been bombing roads, bridges, and of course you have the Saudi-led blockade.
Well, and you know what that does too, and I think this is important. Normally, in a situation like this where there's an outbreak, the CDC would send in a team. They would try and isolate the area. They would find the origin. They can't do any of that right now.
This is a great point. Yes, aid is being blocked, aid on which 75% of the population relies. Like you said, this blockade of ports means that medicines can't get in. So that's why we had the fastest growing cholera outbreak. That's why you saw a measles outbreak, and now we're seeing the swine flu.
Michelle Greenstein, as usual, very comprehensive report, and we thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes, of course, Brother Tony, they are censoring because that's what they're supposed to do. That's their job, right? Their job is to keep people focused on the fog, right? Facebook, you know, that's what they're supposed to do. They got to make money, economics. You know, everyone jumped into. I got to pause for a minute. I forgot to share. Thanks for sharing. I forgot to. I get all excited, got in here. I forgot to share it on my own daggone page. But let me share this. What I'm saying. But that's what they're supposed to do. But that's why I say economics, like we're, you know, and CIA or whoever, deep state, whoever is control of a lot of this stuff, they make sure that the only content that's prolific on the platforms in their country are platforms that are actually saying what they want to be said. That they're not colonizing, that focus Democrats to fight the Republicans or Republicans to fight the Democrats, or just that flipping out presidents actually changes anything. I am not a president flipper. Listen, this is where I get off. I know my Trump folks are a little upset with me because I knew this was going to happen a little bit, but the reality is that when you start bombing and killing and you pick up your war, we can't keep cheering that. We have to be honest and say that this is evil. We're not supposed to do this. We're not globalists. We're not colonizers, and we can't roll this stuff out. But the reality is Donald Trump is your president. Absolutely is your president. 100%. Work on fixing the system and ignoring who's butts in office. Like this guy, the racist guy. The racist guy in the blackface. I can go back to that report. Him. Yeah, I don't want to get him out of office. Why do I care? Why do I care he's in office? We got, once a person's elected or selected or whatever it is and they're in office, at that point in time is our job to make sure they do things that take care of our family here and abroad. That's the only thing that's important. Not flipping the next election. So to get people on these dumb missions to impeach, these dumb missions to blame people and not the system. So for the next 4 years, nothing gets done. Nothing important in terms of saving life, fighting the swine flu, stopping the bombs that are dropping, you know, reinstilling the Bill of Rights or Constitutional Convention, stopping the colonization, building roads, taking care of the poor kids in our own damn country. We do none of that because you fall in with the media in this fog of wait to the next election, and you put your guy in and they don't do anything. You put your girl in and they don't do anything because the other side fights you on that, right? That's what I'm saying, fog of war. Absolutely. So I don't really care who's in office. Once they're in office, it's our time to stop fussing and fighting with the other side and fix the system that it works better for the people around the world and all of humanity. That's called growing up. Politics is dead. Don't vote for the criminals. Exactly. There's no politics anymore. It's all just a fog. It's just a fog. Who said that? Lori? They just keep people going on that. Y'all say there's buffering. Yeah, well, they got a buffer. I say something they don't like, they can cut it off. If it's buffering, they, you know, that's a great strategy. I'm glad they do. They're supposed to. Facebook, YouTube, whoever's doing it, you're supposed to do that. You know, if I say something that just hits too close to home, you're supposed to shut off the broadcast or cut down the bandwidth. Why? Because Russia did it. That's what they're supposed to. I don't blame nobody. I don't blame nobody in this. We built this and we're deciding to keep it by your 2020s. I was thinking about Bernie for a minute. Never gonna give you, I'm gonna give you up. I'm gonna sell you out. I'm gonna turn around. All right, it's funny. To me, it's funny. To you, it's not funny because you believe in your Bernie's your guy, and I just don't think your guy matters. All right, what else we got? There are a couple inches. Will Marco, that boy is hilarious. What else we got? Where's my thing? I'll let y'all see what I'm looking at. Yeah, right there. So yeah, I don't care nothing about that. It's important, you know, war, it kills year after year after year after year. There's so many benefits from war that come out in terms of how it hurts us down the road, and swine flu and disease is just another one of them. So yeah, we're just weakening the next generation on our ignorance. NBC's bizarre attack on Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, well, yeah, right. I remember something about that. So that's NBC's going after Tulsi Gabbard. She's one of the anti-war voices in Syria. Let's be clear. She's anti-war in Syria. She's not anti-war everywhere. She's anti-war in Syria. You know, I'm not selective in that, so it's not cheering to Tulsi, but you can't be anti-war anywhere, so NBC is going after her. Chris Hedges had a good talk. Let's go to Chris Hedges. Every time Chris talks, you got to listen. When Chris is talking, shut up and listen.
SolarWinds Take Control is designed to provide
Because that brother always says something good. Ooh, SolarWinds.
Attended and unattended access to endpoint devices on nearly any platform.
No, that's not good. Never mind. I thought that was like solar and wind. I was thinking like wind power. No, that's not what's up.
Most prolific writers of our time.
Yes, he
He's
is.
also one of the most respected journalists and has a show with us here on RT. He's good enough to share some of his time with us. Chris, I want to start by asking you about this somewhat interesting article that has been published by NBC, where I guess they're not big fans of this politician from Hawaii named Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard has staked out a position as being somewhat anti-war, which is in and of itself nowadays kind of a strange place for most politicians. But they go after her by saying that she has ties to the Kremlin because she wants troops pulled out of Syria, and then vis-a-vis has ties somehow to RT because we are, quote, part of the Russian propaganda machine. What do you make of this kind of reporting?
Well, it's not reporting. It's kind of right up there with communists put fluoride in our drinking water. We've seen this kind of smear against Bernie Sanders.
Communists didn't put fluoride in your drinking water. Your government did. They put chlorine in there too. They got Viagra in there too. They got pharmaceuticals in there too. Your government did. Big corporations buy laws. They spray chemicals everywhere. They put them in the ground. They broke farming. They put it all in your water, okay? Russians did not put fluoride in your water. Your brain isn't working right because your government doesn't want your brain to work right.
There's Jill Stein, who I supported, the Green Party candidate, and it's, they pick it up. There's no attempt to find primary source material to justify the claim. Remember, didn't Russia hack into power grids in New Hampshire or something? I mean, but you get away with it because the dominant narrative demonizes everything that is Russia, and those the ruling elites don't like, including Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein, or in this case, Gabbard, become tools of the Antichrist. I mean, it's so far from journalism, I don't know what to say. It's kind of part of the frightening deterioration, in particular, on the electronic media, which can say anything, whether it's substantiated or not.
It seems, too, that oftentimes they use the Russia narrative as a go-to position. And look, I'm not here to defend the Kremlin or the Russians or Putin. I don't, criticize them duly when they do things that they shouldn't do, because that's my role as a reporter, as a journalist, or to try my best to do that at any given moment. But it seems like when I watch the media establishment today, they've chosen Russia as their go-to position for all things negative. And that just doesn't seem like it's well thought out. Does that bother you?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think we look back on the whole anti-communist hysteria within the United States. Remember, Martin Luther King was supposed to be a tool of communism. Anybody who challenged the dominant structures of power or the ruling elites became tarred as a communist. I mean, I myself was attacked like that when I covered the war in El Salvador by officials, including Elliot Abrams in the Reagan administration, and we're just seeing another iteration of that. So if you don't like a populist like Sanders, then they become a tool of Russia. If, in my case, you're a critic of corporate power, the corporate coup d'etat that has seized power in the United States, you become a tool of a foreign power, and you get algorithms imposed by Facebook and Google to marginalize what I write on websites like TruthDig or the other sites that pick it up. I mean, all of those left-wing sites have been victims of these algorithms ostensibly because they are tools of or agents of a foreign power, although it's utterly absurd. I don't think TruthDig, the site I write for every Monday, column, has ever said anything nice about Russia or Putin. So this is just part of the kind of demagoguery that's pushed by the Democratic Party largely and the liberal establishment that refuses to address the real issue, which is the social inequality, which they largely helped orchestrate, that has created a dysfunctional and a failed democracy and an oligarchic state. And so on the far right, you have Trump and those figures attacking Muslims and undocumented workers and creating a fake crisis along the border. But the liberal establishment is no better. Neither are dealing in a reality-based universe. And that's what this is really all about. The real issue, which is the social inequality, which they largely helped orchestrate.
I know, it's funny to me because y'all thought he was going to say something positive about Democrats. I know, but this is real talk. This is real talk. They create the fantasy. They create the fantasy. You're on this side fighting, that side fighting. It's all fantasies, all a fog of war. I'm sorry. I love Chris. This is why they don't put Chris on TV. Chris just comes in. You're like, oh, he's on our side. He's on our side. Chris is like, All right, yeah, right. So anyway, social inequality, right? That's neoliberalism, classic. All right, right. Like that's the whole point. This is why we attack things from the root cause. Corporations should not run your world. Period. That's why I don't care about your 2020s. It's all a fog of war. They all want corporations to keep running the world, and that's why people are dying. Because corporations are making these decisions. Corporations don't give a damn about you, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, Syria, Libya, Alabama, Texas, Venezuela. They just care about the money. The bottom line is the bottom line. The bottom line is not human life. The bottom line is money, minerals. That's why the left and the right have no solutions at all. Their only goal is to keep this train that's full of gasoline heading towards a station that's on fire. And eventually this train is going to hit that station, right? That's why I don't care about your 2020s. Your 2020s aren't going to fix anything. That's just a method of perpetuating the problem. It's just more fogs of war. So anyway, all right, I'm going to look at comments. Let me see, did I miss any last? That's why I love Chris. Chris comes on, you can just play Chris. You know, half the time you don't have to know what he's going to say. You know he's going to say something deep. He's going to say something deep, he gets it, and that's why he doesn't appear on the news. I remember the last time I saw, what was on ABC or something, they had him on for a second. They cut that brother off. They cut him off because he doesn't take these angles and approaches. See, right, to be on the left, you got to be a bigot. To be on the right, you got to be a bigot. To be a conservative, you got to be a bigot. To be a what's the other side? A liberal, got to be a bigot. Any of those sides, you got to have a bigoted, there's somebody that you're ignoring. And there's somebody that you're prioritizing. And that's why I say our solutions are humanity-based. As you get rid of all your bigotry, you stop turning on people and you turn on the system. Did we miss anything else? I want to make sure I hit all of the news before I turn that. Is that the right screen? Yeah, that's good. Tulsi Gabbard, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the mudslide that sweeps and killed a whole bunch of people in Bolivia, which is really stupid. I'll show you a clip of that. Which is scary. It's scary that things are happening. Well, why are we looking at a clip of people dying in a mudslide in Bolivia? Because why do you think third world countries exist? Why are third world countries still around? Because we bomb them into the fourth world if they don't do what we want. So that's where the mudslide is kicking in. And I turn the volume down, but this shouldn't be happening. Why do you have third world countries? Because we want to keep them in the third world. That's a part of colonization and U.S. hegemony. And that's what we're told to do by the 12 families that run all of this. You can't let them evolve and develop a better society than us taking care of people sharing. You can call it socialism. I don't think socialism works. I think that you share, it's an ecosystem. You share resources. And so you got people walking along a path and the whole hill starts to slide down. And I think it killed a bunch of people. Why? because they're in the third world in a modern time. And that's stupid. That's stupid. These are problems, things that should never happen, and they don't ever have to happen. They happen because we don't use automation, we don't use technology, and because you got a 2020. That's why these things occur. They occur because the 2020s constantly want to destroy the planet and bomb everybody back to the Stone Ages to rebuild their countries. That's how they make money. John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It's a book, look it up. All right, was there anything else on here? There's a couple other interesting bits and pieces of news. That's why I tie every problem back to you Democrats and Republicans. I do. Every single problem, because there's no problem in this world we don't make. And I say we, I put you Democrats and Republicans in it, but we, because we are a collective. You know, whether you're a part of the affiliated with those groups or not, we still, as a human race, are failing. We, as this North American population, because America doesn't exist, are failing because we keep cheering big business and big corporations that run everything. So to me, that's just another thing. More people dying shouldn't have to. Let me see, what is that? Not accredited Russian Venezuelan media denied access to pro-Guaido. Out of Venezuela, we don't have to even address. Again, Guaido is not, his name's not Guido. And the second thing is, no, he's not a good guy. He is a sellout. You know, whatever happens in Venezuela, whether Maduro stays or go, Guaido can't be a part of it because all he's going to do is give all the resources over to big corporations. Oh, this was funny. Are we meddling? We got to do this. I like this one. We had to do this. They were asking meddling.
Do you think the U.S. is meddling in Venezuela?
I don't think so. I mean, we're the superpower in the world.
Do you think the U.S. is meddling in Venezuela?
Are they meddling? Yeah, both sides are meddling.
But it's good meddling is what you're saying.
I don't know if it's good meddling or not.
As far as Venezuela is concerned, I think they did have a coup down there.
Yeah.
So, but what I like to see, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to go.
It is a coup.
And to me, when you have something like that happen, I think we got to do something about it. But I'm so sorry. I got to go.
Okay. Thanks.
I got important meetings I got to get to.
Do you think it would be meddling if Russia were to declare Nancy Pelosi the president of the U.S.?
I haven't thought about that.
I think we're just supporting the people and supporting what they are deciding needs to happen, and so I think that's good for us since we are the bastion of freedom to speak up and support other people around the world who are.
We're the bastion of freedom. We got 500,000 laws that not even the police know what the laws are anymore because we're so free and they hate us for our freedom. The old same narrative. The guy before, he was walking so fast, he had that McDonald's cheese in your butt walk like he had to get to McDonald's.
Fighting for freedom as well.
Lying long as the day is long. There was another one that had a few extra clips on that. But yeah, it's just the same old. You know, do colonizers meddle? Hell yeah, they do. Is America a free country? Hell no, it's not. Very simple, very simple. Did we miss anything else? Let me see. I'll go down to the bottom. Oh, yeah. John of God. Did y'all see that? My father is a monster. John of God accused of running sex slave farm. Yep. Where was that? That was Brazil. I got friends who flee Brazil. Brazil is a horrible place. Another country kept in the third world so America can stay on top. So now you got these cults that are popping up in these different places because they're not developed. Same reason the mudslide occurred. You got this. Again, all the problems in our world we make. And we keep them because we don't talk about the actual root cause because we're lost in the fogs of war, shooting at innocent civilians and other poor people as opposed to taking out the tanks and the real things that are causing the problems. Oh, wow. Did y'all see this? Man caught on fire and your police got tasers. Yeah, taser lit a guy on fire in Philadelphia. You see this?
Oh my God! Oh my God!
All related.
Get out. What you mean?
Problem in the police.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
This is not what a free nation does. This is not what a free nation does. Free nation doesn't create people that break laws, and a free nation has laws that are actually based in the laws of the land, its constitution and its Bill of Rights. Free nation doesn't need police with weapons that act like that. A free nation doesn't need to control its people. Its people control themselves because they're free and they're happy. That's not what happens in a free nation. This is what's called a police state. We are being watched. We have wardens. We don't have politicians. We are in a prison, an open air prison called America. All right, let me see. And I sit back and I look at this stuff every day. I was like, I can't believe we are still going on with this. We are still continuing on. And you know what? And here's the problem. The fog of war is people to start blaming that police officer, right? Because they'll say, well, he had a device and he didn't check it. It needed to be inspected once a year. His device wasn't inspected, or he didn't have to shoot at that time, or that's not the problem. It's not the problem. You know, the police are players in it. Hate the game, not the players. You know, if people hate you so much and they hate your policing so much they fight with the police, then it's the system that you need to fix. It's not the police. The police aren't the problem. It's the damn system, right? The police are turned against the people because the system wants to make a lot of money, these big corporations. But again, we get lost in the fogs of war. Fogs of war. I know this is going long, but there's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about this morning. Top secret nuclear bunkers, don't care about that. Deadly, let me see where, can y'all see where, let me see. Yeah, Maduro talks about oil, gold, and other riches behind Trump's Venezuela crusade. And that's the problem. I'm not going to click on that one because Maduro's even yelling and screaming, it's Trump, and it's not Trump, it's your system. It doesn't really matter who's in office. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm done. Let me look at some comments and get out of here. Fogs of war. Yes, broken two-party system, Linda. The system's completely broken. And, you know, but it's going to stay broken because people got 2020s. They want to break it more. They want to put more people in there to perpetuate a broken system. We are the Bastille, the bastions of war. We are. We have a war-based economy. Our economy is based on murdering people and violence. Max Blumenthal has a great podcast on YouTube. Look up the channel, Moderate Rebels, highly recommended. Thank you, Plummy K. I'll take a peek. Always looking for somebody good to follow. You know, always share with who we should be following, who else, and always follow them. And when they show something that we need to watch, you need to share it with us. In fact, Storm Clouds Rising. Well, no, Storm Clouds Gathering. That's another good brother. I forgot his name. He does good videos. He did a great video yesterday. Y'all should follow him. He's on Facebook and YouTube. You know, he broke this stuff down a long time ago also. The system is the problem. Yes, Lori, the system completely is the problem. 100%, 1000%. Stop focusing on the pieces on the chessboard and focus on the system. All politicians are puppets. They're puppets. Yes, Maha, they are. And because they exist, because they're around, we can't get anything done. They're all going to do the same thing, right? Like, that's just how they operate. Their job is to create this fog and get everybody focusing on presidents. Get everybody focusing on the next election instead of fixing things right now. And people are dying right now while you're cheering your 2020. Right now. Inhuman. They removed all the trees. Yeah, Mary, they're cutting down trees, and it's a really stupid thing. We actually need trees to survive. It's just, it's insanity to me. And that's another thing like mining. You were talking about the landslide, right? Because a lot of the landslides occur because of the mining. They carve down the trees, the resources, right? And we don't actually need to do these things anymore. But those mining companies go through and they rape these countries. They rape the countries because people here think it's capitalism to give resource rights to land from ecosystems to corporations. That's not called capitalism. That's called I'm just gaslitism. That's called I just don't read-ism. You know, that's called taking resources from humans, birds, bugs, bees, soil, animals, and everything else and giving them to corporations. That's just called stupid. It's not capitalism. It's just called stupid. And that's what the whole thing in Venezuela is. It's to go steal those people's resources and give it to private business that own the American government. Mudslides in California, fires, a lot of rain, mudslides, California, fourth world. Right, California's being strip mined like Tennessee, like all the rest of them. Mudslides everywhere. But I don't think a lot of people die of mudslides in California. But I mean, that's another side of it. Ooh, so where the mudslides occur, you know, if you're not a fourth world, you actually can go help people. right? Nobody's going to help people on the side of that mountain. They don't have drones that can go fly out and save the people. They don't have ambulance that can go do the thing. We do, right? And that's the whole point. The shame is the helicopters that go help the people in a mudslide in California, anywhere else, are made from minerals that we stole out of the Latin American countries. So it's kind of the same thing, right? You know, when you hurt people in that way and you prevent them from evolving modern societies where they can take care of each other, a lot more people die than should. Eco-socialism. Ooh, Brother Tony, you're hitting me with a word. I have to look that up. That makes sense. Eco-socialism. That's interesting. But you know, we got to take the socialism word off of it though, because that's what really, that's like sparks this whole fog of war discussion. Right? When you say the word capitalism or socialism or communism, then everybody picks their side and they start fighting, and nobody actually takes out the problem. We got to come up with a better, right? I like the resource-based economy. I like things like that, the automated economy. Anytime you put the word socialism in there, it triggers the gaslit people to just jump in with the argument given to them by the oligarchs. So I think we need a different word for it. We are failing. Lori, we are failed. Every day, kids die. 85,000 children died in Yemen. We are not failing. We failed. The only thing we can do is pick ourselves up. That was interrupted, Anna. Okay. Decentralization of our lives is the only way we can change. It's the only way we can change, Tony. People got to go back to being strong. People got to go back to being sustainable. People got to go back to being the masters of their own domains. You know, that's why I believe in sovereignty. Plant seeds, take care of yourself. Stop relying on your government. Centralization and slavery. Yes, Tony, requires it. When you centralize things, it requires a lot of slaves that you got to stand on top of. And that's what America does. It stands with, I keep saying colonization because folks don't get it. They don't seem to understand. The only reason we're in the powerful position we are is because we murdered a bunch of people. We're not smarter. We're not better. We don't have a better system. We don't have freedom. We don't have capitalism. We have crony capitalism. So we don't even have that. We don't have a better system. We were quicker to it. And after World War II, when the whole world, the modern world, was bombed out, back to the fourth world, back to the third world, we had an economy that steamed ahead. We stole the technology from the Germans like the Russians did. And that's why Russia and America are on top. Not because they're better, because of World War II. And we had, you know, an economy. America isn't better. Nobody hates America because America's better. They hate America because we're murdering them and we're colonizing them because we don't actually control our federal government. Guaido is being handsomely rewarded. Yeah, he is, Mary. He's being rewarded. They want to reward him with a country. They want to reward him and make him the greatest sellout since the beginning of the human race. Let me see. I just watched that yesterday. Let me see. Keep it real at G. Laughter is contagious. Yes, laughter is contagious. Carrie, I laugh, and to me, it's not really funny, but it's ridiculous. A lot of this is just ridiculous. Ghettos are fostered for contrived real estate development in the future at artificially forced down prices. Damn it. Beaufort. Beaufort's like Kevin. He's put these things out here. You gotta stop and think for a minute. You smart people. I love you smart people. Ghettos are fostered for contrived real estate development in the future at artificially forced down price. Yes, okay, Beaufort. Gentrification, absolutely. Like, that's the whole purpose. It's the same reason of the third world, right? The same reason you bomb a developing country like Bosnia, like Syria, like Iraq, like pick whatever one you want, Venezuela, like Libya, like any of these developing nations. You bomb them back to a point where they actually have no economy, no society, the people can't take care of themselves. And you do a national gentrification. I like that. I love that. That's exactly, you're nailing it right. That's what's happening in Venezuela. It's just a larger scale gentrification. They bomb them back and then they go into rebuilding. They buy up the land at cheap because when people are poor, like all these sanctions did, people still think, oh, well, socialism did it to Venezuela. No, it didn't. It was our sanctions. When you sanction them back the same way as bombing, same thing. You get to a point where the people are so hungry and starving, they'll take anything. Starving people are capable of everything. Yeah, the hell yeah, they'll march in the street. You know, and that'll be your justification for going in and bombing the rest of it out and then buying all the land back cheap. Gentrification of Venezuela. I think that's the thing. Thank you, Beaufort. That's why I like smart people. Let me see. He isn't paid to think. No, Mary, none of the 2020s, and none of them are paid to think. Neither is Guaido. None of them are paid to think. They're paid to get us rallied around dumb ideas in the fog of war, shooting at other poor people in the fog, in the war, in the battle, as opposed to taking out the tank, or ending the war. Let me see. Police shoot first, ask questions never. Right, Laura? Because that's the job. The job now is it's quelling and containing the population. It's not protecting the population, and the police didn't write the laws themselves. She is a bigot. Yes, they're all bigots. Absolutely. Well, wait, to a degree, we're all bigots. Y'all, like, I posted this thing from Chappelle the other day. We're all racist. We're all racist. You know, they're just those of us who are trying to get rid of it and those of us who aren't. We're all bigots. There's those of us who are just, we see our own bigotries and we're trying to get rid of them, and others who are just blaming other people, right? Like that's, so we all are, because from birth, you know, the way he put it, from birth, we're taught to generalize, right? Why are we taught to generalize? Because the government generalizes. Why do they generalize? Because if you can generalize a population, you can control them better. You got to put them in pockets and controlling groups, right? The same way a farmer does, because we're being farmed. And that's why the farm analogy works. We are on a human farm. And so because they generalize, everything they do is based in generalization. That's why you check these boxes. I'm white, I'm black, I'm Hispanic. So all of these nonsense, crazy crap things, they don't mean anything. The schools teach kids to generalize. And that's all racism is. It's prejudice and it's based in generalizations. And so we absolutely all are. You're either trying to stop your mind from doing these generalizations or you're not. I do everything I can every day to stop generalizing. All the time. I let every woman be her own unique self. And I stop myself anytime I say women something, and I stop. Men something. I kind of joke with the men thing because I'm a man, so it's funny to me. But, you know, every time, you know, an article starts off with a black person, a white person, Christians, conservatives, left, right, like they're already trying to trigger that whole generalization, tribalism, bigoted fight. That's why I don't watch the Super Bowl. Let me see. John of God, friends of Oprah and Clinton. Oh, Mary, you did stop it. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I won't even play the report because I get so pissed off when I watch that. I watch the report. I'll post the link. You watch what that man did, what they did to these little kids. Oh my God. That does not surprise me. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Soldiers should wear sponsorship badges. Yeah, exactly. Nestle, Exxon, Mobil, take your pick. They should, Plymouth K. They should, and so should politicians. Because that's the problem, is that we get lost in the fog. You see an American patch, you think they're there to fight for America freedom. No, they're not. They're there to fight for Chiquita Banana and U.S. fruit. They're there to fight for Exxon and Mobil, and they're there to fight for that. That has nothing to do with America. They're the ones who take the spoil of war. They're the ones who take the booty. And they take the booty all the way home. The only thing that soldiers bring home for America, they bring home PTSD and other problems that the VA isn't going to take care of and not give two damns about. You know, if they actually wear that, then, you know, exactly. Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, that's who they're out there fighting wars and killing for. They're not doing it for America, not for freedom, not for U.S. interests at all. They're doing it for foreign interests and international corporations. They aren't even putting the fire out, just watching. Yeah, Lori, they're not. They're not, because police are trained. They're talking about the fire, the taser. No, police are trained to do a job, and that's to control the population. They are a police state. That's what the job is. It's to control you. It's not to help you. It's not to get your cat out the tree. It's not to defend you or protect you. You know, and this is what the Democrats and Republicans did. So you roll out your 2020, the police state will get bigger, right? Bernie will roll out more and more the police state because that's the job. You know, the only thing that the people who own our government fear are the masses of people. That's all they fear. The only thing they fear is that you might actually wake up and put down your bigotry and put down your racism and put down your partyism, put down all your isms and say, no, I want a better world. We got better technology. We can make a better world. We need to stop blowing the world up and act like we got some damn sense. We need to go back to evolving. That's the only thing that people who own your government fear. People behind this deep state thing. Different rules for police than you and I. Absolutely, Rebecca. I think there are layers of it though, right? I think there's like us on, well, we're not on the bottom. Not like on the bottom would probably be post-incarcerated people, right? Like the people on the bottom are the ones who have no rights. In fact, who might be underneath them because they got very little rights if they were convicted of a felony. The ones underneath them would probably be the immigrants, right? The slaves and the sex slaves and all the stuff that they bring in. But, you know, and then there might be us above the incarcerated. Above them might be the police and DHS and these guys. They might get a few more rights because you got to get layers of it. Above that might be the politicians, you know, because then they got a bit more protection and rights. And above that might be like the wealthy, the people who have money to buy judges and politicians. And higher up above that would be corporations and whoever else runs this stuff. Above that, we can't see. But that's who actually runs the world. It's definitely not us. The system is the problem. Yes, Lori, it is. It's a scary mess. It is Maha. But if we grow up, we can solve it. Adulting requires each person to be responsible for what they do. Just doing my job became obsolete long ago. Yes, Rebecca, and that's why I say you fix all your problems in the mirror. Focus on you and how you can do better. Stop focusing on everybody else. And if you're actually doing better and you're becoming what you're supposed to be, other people pick it up. Let me see. Police look for people to put in the prison system, rolling down my street. Oh, everyone runs inside. Well, right, Kimberly, and why, right? Why? People say racism, and I'm like, no, dummy, it's economicism. All you got to do is read Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow. It explains it to you. It's just economics. It's economics. The police, they have quotas, and they have to go out. They got to do their job. You know, the same way you are, like you're sitting at work, right? I know you're playing Scrapple. And that's not Scrapple. What is the game? How y'all faking lying work, pretend that you're working? And fudge the numbers, pretend that you did more TPS reports than you actually did. And the police got a job to do. Their TPS report is you, right? And so how do they get that arrested, make sure that I'm working, I'm doing my job, I'm not out there eating jelly donuts and drinking coffee and partying and picking on women. I'm doing my job. How do they prove it? They got to arrest you, and the arrest has to stick. So what do? You go to a place where they can't hire lawyers. Why? Because lawyers get you American criminals, because you're all criminals. To Wall Street, you're all criminals. The lawyers can get you American criminals out of the arrest, right? So what do police do? They don't go to the wealthy communities. Hell no. They pick the poor. See, Kimberly, you didn't told me so. I know where you live now, girl. You are middle class or below. Because that's where they go. They go to places where people can't afford lawyers to get you off of arrest. Why? Because they want the bosses, the sheriff, the government, the politicians, everybody, the lieutenant, to think that they're working. They're doing their job. So they got to go where they can get some easy arrests. That's it. It's not racism. It's how if I grew up in like a police family as opposed to a military family and I went into police, that's exactly what I do. It's exactly what I do. I look for you poor bastards. Because it's what you're doing right now. You're sitting at work right now watching me. You're supposed to be working. You got TPS reports to do. You watching this right now. And your boss come around, you fake like you're working. I know you got the second screen. You click on the button. The police are doing the same damn thing. So we can either fix it or not. That's our only options. Fix it or not. Fix it or keep it. Fix it. People gonna eat no matter what you want. No matter what you want for other people, police are gonna eat. The military, they're gonna eat. You think the troops flying to Venezuela and Colombia right now, you don't think they're gonna eat? They're gonna eat too. I'm doing my job, damn it, I'm doing it. They're gonna do the job. All right. Anybody want to save the world yet? Anybody want to save the world yet? Nah. Y'all call me racist too, shoot. But I was a cop. That's exactly what I do. I believed in police and shoot. I picked the poorest neighborhoods I could so you bastards don't get off. You criminal Americans. That's why they go for street crime. They don't go for Wall Street. They definitely go for street crime, but it's never on Wall Street because that's who writes the laws. Let me see. Max Blumenthal sucks. No, I don't know anything about Max Blumenthal. Let me see. Don't blame the police force for their actions, but blame the politicians for theirs. Absolutely, Rebecca. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the politicians are the ones that require a certain amount of Americans be criminal. That's why. And it's not because the politicians don't like us. It's not because your 2020s don't really love you. They probably do. It's just not their job. Their job is to prove that a certain percentage of you bastards are all criminals. That's their job. Why? Because Wall Street says that you are. They've already got prison bed lined up, you know, and so we can go after the police all we want. And as soon as you take that one out, they're going to be two at the academy waiting to join up. It's just how it works. People are going to eat. The problem is the system. Or was it turn this mother out? What do you listen to music? You're not supposed to listen to that in the morning, Georgia. Scene 7 of the lyrics of my life in the question everything. Yes, absolutely. Moderate Rebels has awesome podcast. Okay, thank you, Eileen. I will have to check it out. World War II did not end. When we stopped fighting, the fight went underground and became 3-letter battles. I agree, Linda, and there was never no World War II, right? Because it was only one war, right? It's World War I. It was just part 1 and part 2, and 2 never really ended because all they did was the Fourth Reich just came to America and Russia. That's it. World War II never really ended. It was like a pause. So we're on World War I, part 3, and that's what's coming up now. The sequel, right? We keep doing the same dumb thing, and it's the same powers that ran Nazi Germany are in America running. That's when they started NASA and all that stuff. They took all the experimentation they did on everybody, they brought here all the weapons, the V2 rockets, all that stuff, and they brought it here. You know, America is the Fourth Reich, but they got the flag, they got the Pledge of Allegiance, so you can't tell them nothing. They're controlling everything. It's about democracy and freedom. That's why I say people don't listen. I say the founding fathers are turning over in their graves with the Native Americans, with everybody. They're all turning over in their graves because we can't seem to see that corporations are running all of this. The problem was never church and state. Yes, the church was an issue, but that was never the problem. Corporations have the ability to have a lot more power than a church. So right now, the imminent threat is the separations of corporations and states, the oligarchy. We never stopped colonizing. No, Lori, we're still rolling on. I'm gonna get down to the bottom comments. Researcher, journalists, absolutely, Eileen, and that's assuming they're actually journalists. There are almost none left anymore. Thanks for being able to articulate the facts. We love you, Brother Gerard. Thank you, Brother Tony. Love you too. It's not because I'm smart or anything like that. I have geek privilege. I was raised in a geek analyst family, so yeah, so that's where I get that from. I try to use it for the forces of good. I can use it to fill a bank account if I wanted to. That's what I did for the first 30-some years of my life. But now I try to use the little analysis I can do to try to make things a little bit better. That's what we're here for. We're not here for ourselves. We're not here for what we can stick in a bank account. We're here to make things a little better. Let me see. Overgeneralizations are always incorrect. At every single time, Rebecca, at all times, everybody, there are 7 billion different creatures on this planet, and you don't know none of them. You know yourself, and you might know something that's a little closer to you, but you only got one down pack. Everybody is so different. And let people be different. I am Chiquita Banana and I shoot you up. Yeah, you know, Lori, and it's crazy that Chiquita Banana is still a company. How are they still selling banana in the United States? That makes no damn sense to me. They should have put them out of business for murdering all those people in Latin America a long time ago. You know, but most people don't know about Chiquita Banana. Most people don't know about U.S. food. They don't know what they did in was it Colombia? They don't know why our soldiers are flying to Colombia right now, because we colonized Colombia. Colombia is our slave, and we are somebody else's slave, and that's how the layers always break down. You know, we're not flying to Colombia because Colombia likes us. We're flying to Colombia because the Colombian government's a sellout, and we own them, and the Colombian people want them out. We set up the same screwed up system there that we have set up here, and that's why they get to modernize, because they're selling their people out. Let me see. All right, let me get out of here. Last couple comments. I'm a roll. I'm not gonna roll. I'm a pick. I can pick my bag of cotton and get the picking. Let me see. Yep, manufacturing engineers want to eat while they participate in making bombs, sort of like the police force. Yes, exactly, Rebecca. We're all tied up in it. That's why we can't judge anybody. Well, you can't judge anybody. We're all a part of the system. There's nothing in America. There's no way we can escape not being a part of this crap. The state is created by the corporate class. Absolutely. And Beaufort and the corporate class holds it up, right? Because they like BMWs, they like Hondas, they like nice houses. Absolutely. The corporate class holds them up. The middle class can end all of this, but the middle class is very greedy. Middle class keep the billionaires in office. The middle class that works for the billionaires and the big corporations that buy the government, you know, and they can walk away. It's their choice. I used to be one of them. I walked away. So I support the system less, but I still supported the system back then. But I'm gonna give them time and space to wake up, because people who got it back then gave me time and space to wake up. And that's why I say you don't judge anybody. It's the fog of war. Stop targeting the pawns. Stop targeting the knights. Stop targeting the rooks. It's the kings and the queens that keep this mother going. That's when this ends. When you take out the enemy king or queen. and the chess pieces aren't black and white and Republican and Democrat and Iran, Israel, and America. Those aren't the pieces on the board we're playing. All you have are haves and have-nots. And when you take out the have king or queen, that's when the game stops. And that's when we can make a new game. You got to stop attacking poor people, stop shooting at poor people. All right, let me see. I'm gonna get out of here. Anybody got some last couple comments we can get going? Anybody got a positive, powerful word to end us on? Let me see. Big pharma and vaccines, that's a big con. It is, Linda. That's why I don't take any drugs. I have no interest in the drugs, vaccines. You know what? I think the last time I went in a daggone Walgreens or CVS or one of them drugstores, it was to get some wrapping paper. And the only reason I was going to get wrapping paper is because I didn't have any newspaper to wrap the gift in. I'm telling you, look. I try to be the real deal anytime I can, but I was in a crunch. But short of that, and I'll never go in there for drugs. And people are crazy. I'm not flipping my DNA for their nonsense. Let me see. From William Blum's Rogue State. Most of the military officers in Central and South America that train at Fort Bragg. We train them to be a proxy for the U.S. interest. They're system puppets. Absolutely, absolutely. Beaufort, oh my goodness, I could tell you a story. I really don't want to. I could tell you a story. I'm just saying, I get in trouble and I get somebody else in trouble. Talk to your soldiers. All I'm gonna say, talk to your soldiers. You want to support your troops, go talk to the veterans. Just go talk to them. They got some very interesting stories. Just go ask them. Say, listen, you ever done anything that you think was kind of unethical and unconstitutional and non-bill of rights, something that the federal government just lies about all the time? You ever do something dirty? You know, you gotta say, listen, take the cell phone, turn it off in front of them. Take their cell phone, turn it off, and go put it somewhere. Say, just tell them, what do y'all really do? What do y'all really? And they'll tell you. They'll tell you. You just go talk to the veterans. These people aren't committing suicide 22 a day for kibbles and bits. They're not doing it because they're fighting for democracy and freedom. They're doing it because you're being lied to, and they know they're being lied to, and they want it to stop. But they got to put bread on the table too. But the stuff we do in Latin America, somebody said something to me that just blew me away. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe it. But I can't say anything more than that. We are not who we say we are. All I'm gonna say, we are not who we say we are. And the other countries tend to know we're not who we say we are. And it's time we figure that out as Americans, that we're not. And we free the world from the people who own our government. That's why I cheer the Constitutional Convention. Does it scare me? Yes, it scares me. It does scare me because you can rewrite the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. But we got to go with every peaceful solution we can to fix our government and take back control of it. Now I think all we need is 7 states. We can have a Constitutional Convention and we can reboot the whole justice system back to being just. We can get rid of all the laws that are completely unconstitutional. We can get rid of all the corporations in government that are just poisoning the environment. You can stop the chemtrails and geoengineering. You can stop the wars. You can take the powers away from the fake federal government that's pretending they got the power and the actual ability to go send our troops to fight in foreign countries and not be treason. It is treason. You can put the war criminals in prison, or damn it, just put them in their mansion, just get them the hell out of government. We could do anything with a Constitutional Convention. And they say, well, you know, but we go into a Constitutional Convention and they can take away our Bill of Rights and Constitution. Yes, they can. And when that happens, then they're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. But we got to make every attempt in a peaceful way to fix our government. Because half your 2020s, they want that. But that's just not the job. They're just hired on a sellout train. And it's harder for them to give up all the things that they've taken. You know, they want to, I think most politicians, they just want to be famous and they just want you to clap. But right now, the clap comes from Wall Street, right? Because they got the most money. Their claps make the most thunder. We need to put the people back in power. When our claps make the most power, then your 2020s actually will do something for you. Until then, it's their job to pump more smog on the battlefield to get you to support. Most vets I know personally don't talk about their experience. They don't, Lord, and that's actually a good reason, and that's a good one too. You go ask a soldier to tell you some truth and they just get quiet. Sometimes they'll cry. Sometimes they just walk away. They'll duck out the conversation because they don't want to talk about it. That's how the human body does, right? Like, don't psychologists talk about that? How, like, abuse kids, how do we protect ourselves and how do we move on? How do we get up in the morning? is we convince ourselves that these things actually didn't happen. We're evil. Y'all, we're evil. Stop saying we're the good guys. We're not the good guys. Please stop sending me 2020, like your 2020 page, like we're the good guys. We're not. We're not. We are evil. We are the epitome of evil. We are the bifurcated tail and the tip of the horn of Satan. And we need to fix that. All right, nobody got a last powerful quote. Denial is rampant. I get perpetuating goosebumps high on the truth. Gotta get high on the truth. Don't get high on lies. I've been high on lies, Tony, my whole life. I don't want to be high on lies no more. I want to be high on the truth. Let me see. Other countries tend to be firsthand. Other countries tend to see firsthand who we really are as a populace. We are privileged in our ignorance. Yes. And on both arms. We are privileged in our ignorance. And we perpetuate more problems because we don't listen to what other countries are telling us about what our soldiers are doing, about what our laws do, what our politicians lie about. Please stop posting on your 2020s. Like Beaufont said, embrace the ignorance. It's just where we are today. How do you grow up? You admit your own faults. You admit that we are our own problems. We are creating our own problems and we are perpetuating our own problems, and we create more problems down the road because we can't admit our own ignorance. All right, listen. See you, Gerard. Gotta go. It was a good discussion. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death. I am out of here. Don't trust the fogs of war. Target the war. Have a good day, y'all. Bye.